What's going on?
A dead lady laying right over there.
What?
A dead body or something laying right over there. I did not get closer. Laying right up in there.
I got you, buddy. Just hang back.
This shocking discovery of a dead woman was just the beginning. The officers walking into that scene were not prepared for the confusion and heartbreak awaiting them the next 24 hours.
Right here. I don't know what that is. This is not pleasant. Not pleasant.
A case that would literally become a distressing puzzle, and darkness would slowly engulf the entire team.
Trying to calm her down, and she won't settle down for nothing. And I hit her again twice in the head. I went bam, okay, bam.
On the morning of June 20th, 2018, a call came through to the Blytheville, Arkansas Police Department.
911.
Yes, I think I just found a dead body.
Okay, where at, sir?
I am on the intersection of 21st and Cherry. Because I was doing a meter test and walked up on it. I didn't get super close.
Can you tell anything? Is it a male or a female?
No, I didn't get that close.
Is it a black male? Is it a black person or a white person?
It's a black person.
How far are you from it?
Close as I want to be.
A passerby reported seeing what appeared to be the dead body of a black person in an abandoned house on the outskirts of the town. Lieutenant Michael Danar of Blytheville Police Department was dispatched immediately to investigate. As he made his way to the scene, he prepared himself, sensing there might be more to this case than the initial report revealed.
17 PD, you advise 21st Cherry?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Danar was awaited by the 911 caller, who was a gas company meter reader on his way to work. That morning had started like any other, but had him stumble upon a sight that had left him shaken.
What's going on?
A dead lady laying right over there.
What?
A dead body or something laying right over there. I did not get closer. Laying right up in there. And I worked for the gas company. I was checking that meter when I walked in.
In that bush there?
The dispatcher wanted to know if it was male or female. I said, ma'am, I'm not being hateful. That's not my job to know that. I'm not walking back in.
I got you, buddy. Just hang back.
The caller directed the lieutenant to the suspected scene, which looked like a scene from a horror movie unfolding out in the open.
17 PD. You get me CID out here, I'm gonna have a body.
At this point, the investigation had barely started. Soon, though, it would turn into one of the quickest cases the department had ever handled. Even in those early moments, Lieutenant Danar had a cop intuition. The caller wasn't involved.
You all right, buddy?
Yeah, all right.
I mean, I know, you know, we see this kind of stuff, but I know you don't.
Every time I work here, I always say, you never know what you'll find. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting.
As soon as it was confirmed that there was a body, the gravity of the situation set in, and additional officers were quickly called to the scene. It had now become a critical crime scene investigation.
Go ahead and start taping. Get it taped from that tree to,
Bumper?
yeah, right there. Hit your lights.
Let's leave the house.
Not yet. This is not pleasant. Not pleasant.
With the area sealed off, the examination was about to begin. But before that happened, there was one pressing uncertainty. Was the perpetrator still within the area, possibly hiding nearby, or inside the house? Officers drew their guns and slowly walked in, not knowing what or who they would find. But they were certain of one thing. Everything was of utmost importance to the case.
Put it in.
Right here. I don't know what that is.
Put it in.
A brace. We're on the way.
When the last of the rooms had been cleared, and the forensic team finished their survey of the house, their attention turned once more to the body, and they knew this was not an accident. They made some disturbing observations. Then they found something that would immediately turn this case into a bigger puzzle.
Just the material of the dress and the way she was lying appeared that she was possibly assaulted. The body was in horrible condition. At the time, it was so many bugs and flies on it that you wasn't too sure what happened. As I was taking photos of her body, I noticed that there was a small puzzle piece stuck to her stomach area.
The unidentified woman was not killed at this abandoned house, nor were there major giveaways about her identity. No wallet, no ID, just a body with a puzzle. But one thing that stood out was a floral tattoo on her arm. As detectives began their investigation, the scene quickly attracted a crowd of curious onlookers. Their first clue and suspect were just within the investigators' reach.
I received information from an officer that Jasper Perry had come to the scene and told them that he had been looking for his friend, and her name was Bianca Rayner.
Their Jane Doe could be Bianca Patrice Rayner, but before they could find out more about this, the mystery man disappeared.
When we're working a crime as heinous as this, to have a bystander come up and ask officers, "Did you find Bianca Rayner?" That's odd.
The bystander named Jasper Perry was tracked down, and an officer reached his house. It seemed like they were on the verge of confirming the identity of the victim and cracking the case wide open.
Hey, Jen. All right. Would you be willing to write me a statement about Bianca?
I left the scene, went a few blocks to the house, and talked to Jasper Perry.
Can you write me a statement about Bianca, about maybe what she was wearing, anything like that? See, right at this point, we're trying to eliminate everything.
Okay, she had on a dress.
She had on dreads?
A dress, like
A
a black and pink dress.
Was it striped or?
Striped.
Striped?
Yeah.
Black and pink dress?
Yeah. She told me she going to Miss Payton shop and she'll be right back. But if it's her name Bianca, yeah, Rayner.
Bianca Rayner. Okay.
The clothing Jasper has described on her friend Bianca Rayner matched with their Jane Doe. To confirm the identity, an officer would meet Bianca's family.
Family members started to tell us about the tattoos that was on Bianca's body, which included a rose and her children's name on her leg. I was able to again go through the pictures that I had taken of the body and verify that it was Bianca Rayner.
Bianca was a 29-year-old woman and a mother of two. Positive identification was a significant head start. While waiting for the autopsy results, the investigators turned their attention to Bianca's family. They began piecing together what the family knew about her life and the tragic fate she had met.
Bianca was the first daughter that I had, believe it or not, and I call her my daughter because she was with me from the time she was a year old up until she got grown. She was my son's daughter. And when she came to live with me, everything was just wonderful because I had him there, I had her there. She was my prize.
Jasper had provided the information to the Blytheville police that had helped identify the victim, but that did not blind detectives' sight. He seemed like a suspect to them from the beginning.
Jasper Perry claimed that he knew Bianca. We wanted to know what their relationship was. Were they sexually involved or just friends? At this point, we considered him to be a suspect because he was the last person to see her.
Jasper was summoned to explain himself. How was it that he was the last to see Bianca alive, yet someone else was responsible for her death?
When was the last time you saw Bianca?
It's either a day and a half or 2 days ago.
So it was either Monday or Tuesday, right?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Mm-mm.
Who is Bianca to you?
Just a friend.
Just a friend?
I met her or whatever, and she said she ain't had nowhere to go, so I let her stay at my house. All her clothes still at my house right now.
Were you involved with her?
No, we was just friends.
Never had a
Never had a relationship with her. I was just trying to help her out.
Okay.
The sexual motive carried heavy importance because the condition they had found the body in betrayed major SA signs.
She had not only been strangled with the cords around her neck, but that she had also been bludgeoned and had been sexually assaulted.
Jasper was not only giving signs of deception, he was also the strongest lead in the case at that moment. However, he was not ready to come out clean, but then the detectives noticed something that made their suspicions deeper.
What's that on your arm there, Jasper?
What's what?
On the back side of your arm there.
Oh yeah, I cut yards, and I was trying to fix my wheel on my lawnmower or whatever.
You scraped your arm up?
Nah, burnt it.
After speaking to the victim's grandmother and knowing that she would have been a fighter, Mr. Perry had some wounds on him that we noticed that we thought were possibly defensive wounds. So we did suspect that he was involved in Miss Rayner's death.
The grip on Jasper became tighter, and the interrogation was suddenly more intense to find out the full truth. If Jasper was still not willing to spill it, they were prepared to go an extra mile.
Jasper Perry gave us a story which we didn't believe, so we offered him a polygraph. He agreed to take it.
Detective Jason Simpkin administered the polygraph test.
Remember which one you're going to lie on? Yeah. Which one? Did you write the number 3? Is your first name Jasper? Have you ever hurt a family member? The test is about to begin. Please remain still with your feet flat on the floor, facing forward. Did you kill that woman? No. Did you help, plan, or participate in the killing of that woman?
After hours of questions, Jasper was called back once the result was in, and it was going to shock Jasper.
Jasper, I've scored the charts. I've looked at everything. It's obvious you're not being honest with me about your involvement with her death.
Man, this test is not right. It's not right. So what questions did I fail?
Failed all of them. You failed the test.
The polygraph results were all over the place. Jasper was either trying to deceive the police or hiding something crucial about Bianca's death. And so they changed tactics and turned up the heat on the suspect to force out the information.
You lied.
But I lied.
You're caught. You killed her. Now, here's the thing.
You said I killed her?
Yes. I'm saying you killed her.
Man, that's on my kids. I didn't
Don't put anything on your kids. Don't do that.
Oh my God, man, y'all finna charge me with a murder.
Now, let me tell you this. All right? Looking at how she was, I mean, you felt bad about what you did. You did. It was obvious.
I swear to God.
I don't think it was on purpose.
But I'm telling you,
I don't think it was on purpose.
Sir, I didn't kill her.
They decided to intensify the pressure a little more, as they felt that it might draw out the secret he was harboring.
As far as polygraph being used in court, in the state of Arkansas, it is inadmissible. However, it is a tool that we use in the investigation to help steer us.
The interrogators grilled Jasper for hours, but he only repeated one thing: he was innocent. Eventually, they stopped asking what he was hiding and began accusing him outright of killing her, hoping to force a confession.
There's one or two things happened here, okay? You're a cold-blooded killer that needs to be locked up and the key thrown away. You're a person that made a mistake.
I didn't kill her.
Nothing seemed to work in uncovering what Jasper was hiding.
We knew that if he did have something to do with her, it was possible that his DNA would probably be on her. We didn't have any analysis back at this point, so we didn't know.
At that point, I don't know if he's going to be the person who actually killed Bianca, but he's definitely going to be a suspect until we determine why it is that he was deceptive on this test.
Eventually, the detectives had to release Jasper for the time being. They knew they had to leave this loose end for now and follow him from another angle, either by waiting for the autopsy results, which were due in a few days, or by uncovering a new lead. They traced Bianca's movements, focusing on her final days, and what they uncovered was something they never expected. In her last few weeks, Bianca had frequented a man, but to their surprise, it was not Jasper. It was in fact a completely brand new lead.
We had learned that Bianca had actually recently been on a weekend trip, so to speak, with another gentleman. He was married, so we just needed now to locate him and talk to him and find out exactly what was he doing with her. Why did they go out of town? What kind of relationship did they have?
Detectives were soon interviewing this new lead at the station.
How do you know Bianca?
We met about a month ago. She was one of my employees' friends, and she came over to his house. I met her over there.
What kind of relationship did you and her have?
Friends and stuff. She was she's kind of wild, young and stuff, free spirited, but.
We're being told that you and her went out of town last week together.
Yeah, I got a business in Mississippi too. She rode with me down there.
She was kind of wild, yet they were out on a weekend trip. Was this man giving away slight signs that he was in fact involved in something related to Bianca's murder? He did not own up to anything, just like Jasper, but there was one more similarity.
At this point, he's acting suspicious. We, of course, wanted to question him to find out what his whereabouts were for the last few days so we could narrow him down as a suspect or eliminate him as a suspect.
They needed to know more, and so they darted more specific questions related to the trip that was now under their radar.
So how long were you out in Mississippi?
4 days. 4 days, yeah. I just got cut. We stayed at a resort where I do my work at on the beach.
Did he clean you out?
Oh, we had a good time.
No, I mean.
Oh, no.
When was the last time that you saw?
Last time I saw her, when I dropped her off from when we got back from Mississippi, probably like 2 weeks ago, probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night Monday. It might be Tuesday, I'm not sure. Oh, it's been a while.
Despite what the detectives had, it wasn't enough to pin anything on the new suspect. He seemed elusive and less than truthful. Yet, like Jasper, he was released. For now. The case demanded the elimination of suspects to make progress, but instead the list kept growing. At this point, it looked like the investigators had no choice but to wait for the autopsy results.
Do you mind today if I took a sample of your DNA?
No problem.
Just to make sure.
We did collect DNA samples from him to send to the crime lab for analysis in the event that we did get any DNA off of Miss Rayner's body.
At this point, the wait was hard for investigators, as it was for the family.
It's just something that I don't know if I'll ever be able to move on from. You don't really understand things like this. And people can say, I know how you feel. You don't know how I feel. You cannot imagine the pain and the heartache that I feel with my daughter being gone.
The family was trying to make a truce with the painful fact that Bianca was snatched away in the most violent manner. However, the standstill in the case was about to be disrupted, accelerating this investigation again. While waiting for the autopsy results, the investigators refused to sit idle. Relentless and determined, they kept probing in the dark. And that's when they uncovered something that would blow their minds.
Detectives learned of a phone call that was placed the night before the body was found. A caller advised our dispatch office that the door to the residence was open and they were requesting an officer to go by and check the residence. So as we're listening to this phone call, the detective who handles our offender registry recognized the voice on the phone call as that of Ricky Bassett, who is a local registered offender.
In this mind-boggling puzzle, detectives were about to interview their third suspect in less than 24 hours.
We found a body over there at that house, okay? You called it in last night. You called in the door was kicked in over there.
Yeah.
This SA offender had some explanation to give, and according to that, it all stemmed from being a concerned citizen willing to help a neighbor who might be in trouble.
Mr. Bassett told us that he was going to his old residence, which was across the street from where we located Bianca Rayner's body, to look for a wrist brace that he had left at the residence, and noticed that the door was open to the residence across the street, and he just wanted to call the police and report it.
Ricky's story didn't sound particularly suspicious, but his history made officers take it with a grain of salt. It wasn't long before they uncovered a glaring flaw in his narrative. He was there to find a lost wrist brace, but there was a catch.
You said that was your hand brace, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you left it in the house when you moved?
Yeah.
Ricky did not live in the residence where we found the brace, so we knew that it was highly suspicious that we would find this wrist brace he's looking for at what we at the time thought was the scene of the crime.
Why was your hand brace in the house where it was found?
It's supposed to be in that other house over there.
We had not gotten back any results from the medical examiner's report yet. We have a local offender who is claiming that he lost a wrist brace in what we thought was the crime scene. We were excited because we thought we had our guy.
They decided to take it a step further.
Will you submit to a polygraph?
Yes, sir.
We're going to give it to you right now, okay? So I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, I'm looking at you as a suspect, man.
Not only was Ricky's DNA swabbed, but he was also scheduled to undergo a lie detector test.
Did you kill that woman? You know for sure who killed that woman.
After an intense and grueling lie detector test, the analysis was ready, and Ricky was left to wait. The detectives, however, weren't prepared for what came next. When the results finally came in, they were just as damning as Jasper's, if not worse. With only their third suspect left, the detectives were done playing games, and that would be clear in the ruthless approach they were about to take with Ricky.
They could say you killed her out of just cold blood, your offender needs to be thrown in jail. Or this was an accident. This is something that went wrong. You felt bad, that's why you called. Tell me, Ricky. Tell me what happened to her. So I can tell her family.
So I don't know.
Even after the lie detector test went horribly wrong, Ricky still refused to open up, and time was slipping away. This wasn't his first police interview. He was no stranger to the system. With that in mind, the detectives knew their approach had to be different from the ones they used with the other two suspects. Ricky, however, didn't crack under the pressure, so the detectives moved on to gather more evidence. They had their suspect. They just needed to see how he connected to the crime scene. Their next step? Back to where it all started. Ricky was recently living across Bianca's house, and they decided to talk around this house where someone else lived now.
And I just basically swerved in there and just basically got out and said, hey man, I need to talk to you.
Yes, sir. I know he come back while we was cleaning out the house Monday morning and was sifting through the garbage looking for a wrist brace.
He was indeed looking for a wrist brace. His story was corroborated by the new tenant, but the detective would hang around a bit longer.
At this point, he's acting suspicious. He's looking around. He's not looking at us in the eyes.
What'd you say your name was?
Dalton Torres.
You got ID?
No, I don't.
You don't have no form of ID?
No, because when I was on the train here, my wallet was took out of my bag while I was sleeping.
What's your date of birth?
7/21/1995.
95? 95?
This man looked about 60. I knew immediately that he was lying to us.
The new tenant was lying through his teeth, and it was confusing as to why this man was not only baffled, but also hiding his identity. They decided to check the house, and nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to find out.
Do you have any issues with us walking around back here to your house and talking?
No.
Private? Okay.
No.
Let's do it.
You can see what a mess the house is in. All that's like puzzle pieces and stuff that we swept out of there.
The moment the detectives stepped into the house, they found something that made it clear. They were standing at the crime scene.
This house needs a lot of work.
We can see these puzzle pieces laying all over the floor in the hallway, and they're covered in a stain that we automatically recognize as blood. We knew at that point, we've got our crime scene. We were there. We were where we needed to be.
They were looking to garner evidence against their strongest suspect, Ricky, but instead, they were about to bring back to the station a new suspect altogether, and the drama was nowhere near an end.
Hey, do you mind coming up to the police station with us and talking to us? Well, I want to sit down and talk to you slowly, okay? You're not under arrest. I'm going to put you in some cuffs for safety reasons, okay?
I just basically wanted to keep him calm and put him in cuffs. I didn't know if he had a gun because I hadn't searched him yet.
The man had lied about his identity because when the detective searched him for the weapon, he would find his ID card, the same one he said was lost around 10 minutes ago. And the ID had a different name.
I'm going to take some stuff out of your pockets here, all right? We used mine when you said you didn't have no ID, did you? You got a driver's license?
Like I said, my whole wallet was took. I got that wallet from a friend of mine.
Oh, that looks an awful lot like you in that driver's license.
It's not me.
I didn't know who I was talking to until I found his driver's license. I'm looking at the picture, I'm looking at him. It was obvious that he was Harold Bennett.
You got a reason to lie to me about who you are?
No, I don't.
All right, you're in custody right now, okay? Just until I figure out who you are.
The tenant told the detective it was his friend's ID, yet the picture looked like him. To confirm his ID, the detective would play an old school trick that resembled that of a James Bond movie.
Hang on, Harold. Dalton. My bad, brother. You responded well to Harold, though.
He called him Harold, and the suspect responded.
We knew that if he's lying to us about that, then he probably knows a lot more about Miss Rayner's case.
You're Harold Bennett. Why would you lie to me and tell me that you're not Harold Bennett?
Because I have 8 warrants in Arkansas.
We find a girl that we believe is across the street from your house.
I didn't do that.
Listen, you won't talk.
I wasn't even here then.
You lied to us about who you are. At this point, I suspect that you did something to the girl.
No, I did. God's honest truth, I didn't. I'm not lying either.
Okay, we're going to talk about it, brother.
The suspect, whose identity was now confirmed as Harold, was brought back to the station for further questioning. He knew about Bianca's murder, but was it because he was involved as police suspected?
The black girl that we found across the street from your house, did you know her?
No, I didn't.
Have you had any girls in your house this week?
No, I didn't. I didn't go in that house till first thing Monday morning after 8 o'clock.
There's no reason why your DNA should be on Bianca, and there's no reason why Bianca's DNA should be on your body anywhere.
That's
or
right.
In your house.
That's right.
No reason at all.
No reason at all.
We need to get Mr. Bennett locked into a story of where he was, what was going on. Of course, he denies having anything to do with it, but we know that if he had sex with her, his DNA would probably be on her.
Harold, let's talk. And if you had sex with the girl, if she was and you had sex with her, just tell us, man. If you had sex with her, I don't care. All I care about is if you killed her. Listen, buddy. If you had sex with that girl and you don't tell us and her DNA comes back on you, you're count. Did you have sex with her, Harold?
The investigators were playing interrogative tricks on Harold, encouraging him to come clean, or his position could get much worse.
Y'all would think I was guilty of killing her if I said yes. I didn't kill anybody. I ain't never done that.
If you tell me you had sex with that girl and you didn't kill her, at least you're being honest with me. But if you tell me you didn't have sex with her and her DNA comes back on you, Harold, that's going to look bad, man, and I'm not going to believe you if I ever talk to you again.
Apart from Harold's lies, there was a strong reason why the detectives believed Harold and Bianca had contact the night of the murder. It was because of the puzzle piece found on Bianca's body. It seemed it stuck around from Harold's living room. The detective's questioning tactic would pay off.
Yes, I had with her. Yes, I paid her $50 because she said that's what her price was. And I had trouble maintaining, and everything. So we didn't have probably more than 5 minutes, and it was over with.
Did that make you mad?
No,
You just
it don't
didn't-
make me mad. No. I mean, no.
So we're going to search your house.
But I didn't kill nobody, sir.
Well,
I swear to God I didn't.
Now that Harold had come clean about his relationship with the victim, the detectives began to slowly make other connections that led up to the crime.
I tried to appeal to his conscience a little bit, and this is a tactic that investigators use often to try to solicit some information out of the person that we're interviewing.
I do know this. You're going to lie to me, Harold. That's just human nature. If I killed somebody, I wouldn't want to say it either, but I'm going to tell you something. And this is not because I'm a cop, because I'm going to charge you regardless. I'm going to be honest with you. If you hold on to that, that will you up for the rest of your life.
What's that?
The pain of what you did to that girl.
I didn't know.
That woman had 2 baby girls. 2 baby girls. That will never see her mama again.
I did not kill her, sir.
Honestly, I believe you killed her. I don't know why.
No, I did.
Let me ask you this question. Why did she have a puzzle piece stuck to her stomach?
I have no idea.
Detectives were certain that there was more to the story than what Harold had been telling. He was breaking, but they knew there were to be interrogative adjustments before they could expect a confession to the crime or a solid lead.
He sticks to his story that they just had since she leaves. I didn't really believe him, but I didn't know, so I call in Detective Simpkins. It's not uncommon for us to swap up investigators and change tactics on individuals that we're interviewing, and I knew there was more to get out of him.
Having the information of what he had disclosed to Captain Frazier helped me in knowing, okay, Harold did have some sort of involvement with Bianca Rayner. We know that encounter would have been right around the time of her death.
After long hours of questions and interrogation, Harold had started to come loose but was still not ready to come clean. He was on the brink of an emotional breakdown, but not quite at what had happened to Bianca yet.
Hey, I know you feel bad about what happened. You're not a bad person. Just admit at what happened. What happened? What happened in there?
As both the interrogators took turns to break the mask Harold had on, there came a time when they felt certain that Harold had mellowed down. First came a half-truth confession. Bianca was involved in sexual activity with Harold, as was the deal between the two. But according to Harold, Bianca had a gun and she attacked him, in response to which Harold had to strike a blow in self-defense, which unintentionally led to her death.
Harold, he started crying, said he didn't mean to, talked about an argument between the two of them. I know that he wasn't giving me the actual full details as to what he had done.
At this point, the detectives knew they had the half-baked confession, but they could aim for more. They had the suspect quite malleable, and a slight nudge could make his house of cards fall altogether. That is when they decided revisiting the crime scene might change everything and make him want to come out of his gnawing guilt completely. However, the investigators were about to be surprised in their own game.
You go down there and let them show me where it's at.
When I got scared.
Need a lighter? Get it lit? Alright, let me pull my car in. Right over here, number 8. Is that where you live at? Come over here. Told me before everything happened. I want you to show me, okay? Can you do that for me? Okay.
As the officers reached the crime scene and also Harold's home, timid Harold, in his cap with his face towards the floor, was about to almost switch his personality. He was given a cigarette to make him comfortable. However, as soon as he got to replay the entire crime, something in him would shift.
It is very rare that a suspect would agree to such a thing, but Harold was wanting to tell his side of the story, so to speak. That sealed the deal with him.
Hey, when Bianca were over here, right? Yes. Okay, she's on the left seat first. Okay.
We went in the bedroom.
Okay.
We came back in here.
Okay.
And then I ended up not being able to finish,
Yeah.
At least half the money back.
Harold began to narrate how events lined up leading to the crime.
Harold walks me through the house, points me to where Bianca was standing, where he starts claiming that she had had a pocket knife on her.
He got mad. I got him on tape from her.
Okay.
Okay. And goes to the legs right there. And she started waving like this.
Harold was steadily portraying himself as he was a victim in this, and this was self-defense.
At me with a knife. And then she's coming at me with it. The bar is laying right here. I grabbed the bar, swung it.
So if I'm hurt, how did you hit? Don't really hit. You just bam.
Every time he would beat her and she would lose consciousness, when she would wake up, he would go back and beat her some more.
According to Harold's story, after the argument, Bianca began to attack him, and Harold beat her with a rod to protect himself. However, Bianca regained consciousness and tried to attack when she woke up. But it was not the story, however, that would catch the detective's interest, but the spark and enthusiasm in Harold as he narrated the events.
I hit her not once, but twice that time. Did she still have the knife? Yeah. I mean, that's one tough girl, I'll tell you what. And I hit her again twice in the head. I went, bam, okay, bam. I'm trying to be rational and calm with her, trying to calm her down. And she won't settle down for nothing.
Harold chuckled and mimicked the sounds his strikes made as he beat Bianca to death.
And so I go in there and I'm sitting down, smoking, I'm wondering, what do I do? And I'm like, Lord, please forgive me, Lord, please forgive me. You know?
He would say that he felt bad about it, but his actions, his body language showed more that he was excited about reliving it, that he was getting to tell me and show me what he had done to her, how many times he had hit her, where he hit her.
When Harold was certain Bianca was dead, he put her body in a trash can and dragged her across the road to her own house.
Right in here? Right, either there or right here. I can't remember.
I was able to garner the confession from Harold Bennett and prove that he acted alone. He was wanting to cast himself as a victim, but he almost appeared as if he was proud of what he had done.
Although the investigative team involved in this case were more than satisfied with their work of drawing out a confession within 24 hours from the time they got to know of the badly decomposed dead body of Bianca.
I became involved in this case when the detectives called our office and notified us that Bianca Rayner's body had been found. The reenactment video was very difficult for me to watch. The way Harold Bennett described what he did to her was very upsetting. While we were watching the video, the medical examiner called one of the other detectives to tell him the cause of death.
There was a huge surprise waiting for them when the autopsy report would come out the next day.
And what we didn't know at the time was that she had actually been shot 3 times in the head.
The report results made the charge sheet against Harold Bennett much stronger. It was never a case of self-defense. It was murder and probably sadism.
In the prior interview, Mr. Bennett tells Detective Simpkins that there is a piece of evidence that's not related to the crime, but he knows it's there and he wants us to get it out of the house.
During the reenactment video, he never mentions shooting her. He does attempt to portray the murder as more of a self-defense, which obviously, you know, when he shoots her 3 times in the head, I mean, there was no self-defense involved with regard to that. But it made the murder just that much more heinous, I believe.
So after all this confession on videotape, we take Mr. Bennett to court, and he is convicted of the first-degree murder of Bianca Rayner and sentenced to life in prison. And he stated that he acted alone, didn't have any accomplices, and we believe that to be true. I was really impressed with the team, from the first responding officer all the way to the prosecutor's office in this case, knowing that we were able to secure a suspect within 24 hours and have all the evidence that we had against Mr. Bennett and get him off the streets. It was a very good day and a win for law enforcement.
I see Bianca every day in her daughter because they could have been identical twins. So that makes it even harder for me to accept the fact that their mom is gone. Amaya told her teacher that she had been adopted. I'm like, okay, Amaya, do you know what it means to be adopted? And she says, yes, Nana, I now have 2 mommies. And one of my mommies is in heaven. That's Bianca. I said, that's right. And the other one is right here to tell you it's time to go take a bath.
The courtroom was packed as the jury delivered its verdict, and a wave of relief swept over Bianca's family. Justice, though hard-won, had finally arrived. Yet, as detectives closed the file, they knew that for Bianca's loved ones, closure was a distant dream, clouded by the loss that no conviction could ever erase. Although the killer was found within a day, the mystery of Bianca's death remains perplexing. Was it Harold's inability to hold an erection that fueled his rage, perhaps a culmination of his frustration? Or did the argument stem from the amount he paid for her services? And then there's Jasper. If he truly had no hand in Bianca's death, what dark secret was he hiding? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you found today's video interesting, please consider subscribing to our channel, hit that like button, and share our videos. Also, if you have any crime story that you would like us to cover, leave us a message in the comment section below.